Hey guys, it's Mistress Nightmare here. Today we'll be reading chapter 5 of You Are Special. Before we get started, please hit that like button, comment, subscribe to this channel if you guys want more creepypasta fanfictions out there. Until then, let's get started. Everyone walked downstairs for breakfast. YN walked to the fridge, which was surprisingly she found normal food in there, including 3 whole cheesecakes covered with plastic that says a note on them said maskies and hoodies do not touch. She giggled and decided to make herself a cheesy omelet, deciding to get some practice with her new awkward powers. She began to focus as the eggs and the cheese and shredded cheese as she floated them out of the fridge and into the frying pan and came from the cabinet itself along with a wooden spoon. Jeff, Ben, Hoodie, and Masky stopped what they were doing and observing YN as she cooked. Her telekinesis was highly amusing to them. When the omelet finished and placed on a long glass of milk, she poured herself. Ben floated up next to her and said, "Wow, impressive. Let me try that." Before she could even stop him, he took a piece of her omelet and popped it into his mouth. Not to seem affected by how hot it was, his eyes opened and drool came from his mouth. "Wow, this is by far one of the best things I've ever tasted." "Does someone like him or even need to eat?" YN asked, as Ben grabbed her by the shoulders. "Make me one, please." "Make yourself one. I'm not your maid." "Oh, come on. You didn't take 5 minutes to make yourself one." "Yo, while you're at it, make me some too," Jeff said, turning around and going to the living room, waiting for her to cook him some breakfast. "I don't feel like cooking." "Jeff, you never cook," Masky pointed out. "Besides the point. Come on." With every more conversation, YN finally gave in and made breakfast for the 2 boys while adding a new omelet to herself, since her first one got cold. Everyone finished their food, and YN noticed all the dishes were left in the sink and on the table, not to mention the mess the boys had accumulated during their heated argument. She sighed and began to work. In mere 10 minutes, the floors were swept, any food stains were cleaned, and the table was cleared off, and the dishes were washed and put away. YN smiled at her work and turned back and noticed that the boys were watching her. Ben, Jeff had smirks on their faces. "Maybe we should get you a maid outfit," Ben said, getting a nosebleed just the thought of it. "Oh, hell no," YN shouted as she walked past them. "I'll be dead before I'm caught wearing something stupid as that." Jeff grabbed her by the waist and pulled her close to him. "Well, why not? We can get you one on a pure black one. Wouldn't you like that?" YN struggled against him. "Even if it was in that color, I will still not wear it." All of a sudden, Slenderman appeared, scaring everyone in the room. YN go to your room, and do not come out unless I said so." The tone of his voice showed that he was worried. Why?" she asked. "Don't ask questions, just go." "Slindy!" 3 voices came throughout the house. "Oh dear God, I'm too late," Slenderman grumbled as he placed his hand over his face. YN looked over to see the voices of the 3 very tall figures that entered the room. Strangely resembled Slenderman, although very different. The first one wore a polka-dotted suit that was tall, with a tall top hat with spots on it as well. He was the only one that had a complete face with 2 black dots for eye holes and a big black mouth with a huge smile. Next to him was a guy wearing a trench coat and black trousers and a hat on the side of his head. The only feature he had was a smirk showing sharp teeth, and between his fingers he was twirling a rose. And finally, the last one, the closest one to Slenderman, was the only one dressed rather interestingly. He wore a long sleeve button-up shirt, and over that with a light brown vest, and he wore dress pants and shoes. In one of his hands was a briefcase. Ryan didn't have to be a genius to guess out that these three were most likely Slenderman's brothers. Hello, Slendy, my dear big brother, the polka dotted one sang in a joyful tone. How you been today? Oh, you barely got here and I'm already having a headache, Slenderman said, rubbing his head. The trench coat one was the first to notice Wyan and smirked as he walked closer to her. Why, hello there, beautiful, he said smoothly, holding out a rose to her. I'm Slenderman's older brother. Name's Offenderman. What's yours? Wyan was about to take the rose, but when Jeff grabbed her and pulled her close to him. You forgot to mention the first part of your name, Sexual Offender Man, he said, turning towards Wyan and having, stay away from this one. Whatever you do, do not smell that rose he gives you. It puts you to sleep and lets him have his way with you. Wyan nodded. And Mr. Polka Dots, who shoved Offenderman out of the way, roughly making him crash into the wall, and began to frown or fawn over Wyan. Oh, isn't she just a jewel? Hello, sweetie. I'm Splendorman. He reached into his inner coat pocket and pulled out a rainbow lollipop. Here, take this. Wyan decided it would be better not to refuse, since the last Slenderman brother tried to give her something that ended with Jeff trying to swat it away. This time, Slenderman stopped him, and taking the sweet into his tentacle and crushing it. You will not give something like that to one of my children, he shouted. But Slendy, I will never dream of hurting anyone you consider dear. Both of them argued back and forth while everyone watched Wyan turn to Jeff. Does this happen a lot? Slenderman's brothers does come off that often, every other month, so just check up on how is he doing. He is the third brother after all. I think it's their duties to keep checking on him once in a while. Well, I think it's kind of sweet if he has brothers that worried about him, even if they are a bit on the weird side. How couldn't you think that? Well, guess that I was an only child. I kind of envy those who had siblings, you know? Someone would be there for you and encourage you. Some can even be confidants or give you confidence when you are having a bad day. What about you, Jeff? Did you have siblings? Jeff's head hung low. Once, a brother. Oh, what's his name? Blue. That was a nice name. Is he still alive with your parents or something? Since you're living here after all? You're asking too many questions. Huh? Oh, come on. You can tell me a little bit about him. I said shut up, okay? You're damn annoying, Jeff screamed, and without another word he ran out the room and up to the stairs. Surely heading towards his room, everyone stopped what they were doing at this point. Wyan just stood there, clear shock on her face. Aski sighed and heard the conversation. Wyan, I think it's best that you do not ask Jeff about his family. Why? Did something happen? It is not my place to say or tell, but I will say this much. Family is a very touchy subject for him. It's hard to tell the way he is now. Even a guy like him has feelings, you know? Wyan hugged herself and felt guilt rise up, fill her up like a glass. I didn't know. When he cools down, I think it would be best to apologize. That guy can hold a grudge longer than Ben can play video games. Right. But until then, Wyan felt someone grabbed her arm. It was the other brother. I need to get you some new clothes. This wouldn't do, he gestured to Wyan's black shirt and jeans. You need something to show off your feminine side. Maybe a few dresses will do. A few? A young lady or girl such as yourself should have a whole closet full of them. He began to drag her out of the room. When I'm through with you, you'll be cute and you will be a victim that you will be judged and be begged to. Your victims will be begging you to kill them. Huh? Slenderman, shouldn't you do something? Slenderman asked, pointing to after the two retreating figures. Oh, unlike you two, I hardly doubt we will have to worry about him doing anything to her. Oh, then why is the room still spinning? Is he still out of it? Whoopsie, I guess I didn't have my own strength. I guess the idiot is still out there. I'm doing fine, as you can see. Fine. Fine. We'll see you later. Make it a long later. Oh my, Wyan exclaimed, examining herself in the mirror. Trenderman, that was his name, had made her a gothic Lolita-style dress, with a frilly skirt and sleeves, to complete the lace necklace and the black top hat, with gloves and black stockings and the black doll shoes. She looked at Trenderman. Thank you so much. Oh, nothing really. I'm sure we have a few more casual styles, or maybe a few more summer and winter as well. You really don't have to do this. Oh, please. You're doing me a favor and letting me do this. He said, continued cutting the black silk. It's been a while since I made some clothes for someone who truly appreciates my work. Well, it doesn't work. Just don't overwork yourself, okay? Don't worry yourself over me, dear. Since you're in that outfit, why don't you go give Jeff his apology? I hardly doubt he will be too mad in seeing you in that. Maybe I should. Thank you. Not at all. Come back for the rest of your outfit. I will. Wyan stood nervously outside Jeff's door, and her hand hovered against the handle, contemplating if she should do this or enough time has passed, allowing Jeff to cool down. She took a deep breath and turned the handle. To her surprise, Jeff didn't scream or for whoever was it to go away or anything like that. She poked her head inside. Jeff, she said quietly, and found him on the bed, sleeping mask over his face. She let herself in and the best to be quiet as she walked to his bedside. Jeff? She said quietly. He did not respond. Not wanting to risk anything, Wyan used her powers to slowly lift off his face mask. But she did. Jeff reached up and grabbed it, making her squeak and backed away. What the hell do you want? He grumbled, readjusting his sleep mask over his eyes. I just wanted to apologize for what I said earlier. It was clear you didn't want to talk about your family, and I should have read the obvious signs to stop, so I'm sorry. Jeff let out a raspy sigh. It's not entirely your fault, he said, lifting up his face mask. You didn't know, and I was being a bit of a the red on his pale cheeks completely visible when he first saw the sight of Wyan dressed up as a gothic doll before him. Wyan chuckled nervously. Trenderman made me this outfit. It's a little too weird. I kind of like it. I never felt silk against my skin. I had never been able to wear anything fancy like this before. It's really nice. Jeff looked away. It's, nice, I guess. Thanks. Jeez. Was this his plan? To make you look so inept and cute like this? I can't stay mad at you. Well, it might be one of many factors. Plus, he thinks it's a girl like me should have tons of dresses. So yeah. That guy. You can't believe that he tried to put me in a suit. In a fucking suit! Wyan giggled. Hey, it's not funny. It was torture. That guy used the damn tentacles to hold me down still. I'm sorry, Wyan breathed, trying to contain herself, trying to picture Jeff in a suit. It was the funniest thing ever. Oh, really? You want to know something? Maybe I should make old Trenderman make you some maid outfits. That got my Wyan to stop laughing. You wouldn't dare. Try me. And trust me, when I said will always be up for anything. Jeff, I'm warning you. Jeff smirked and got up from his bed and headed towards the door. What? What you gonna do about it? Challenge someone with telekinesis? Wyan forced the door shut with a click, signaling that it was locked. Big mistake. Wyan's eyes glowed red as she smirked and opened her mouth. Jeff admitted, with her freaking facial features, it was while wearing that weird outfit, she looked hot. He tried to open the door and saw it was locked and wasn't letting up anytime soon. He smirked, got wild. Oh, it is. Is that now you? He walked over to her. Let's see. Looks like I have to challenge my game plan. Usually I will throw a knife at you, but since you can easily deflect it. Jeff grabbed her waist. I'll try something different. Jeff, what are you? Yeah. Jeff flung her onto the bed and quickly pounced after her. Now he had his hands and knees hovering over her. His hands rested against her head. Jeff, what are you doing? Wyan asked, blushing. Started to form on her face. Trying to make you lose concentration, he said, staring down at Wyan. Closing her eyes, attempting to stop staring at those never-blinking eyes. Then a click open. Perfect. He bolted out the room and Wyan snapped her eyes open. Hey! She shouted behind him. Get back here, now! They ran down the halls that Jeff ran through to make that he was going to make it. Out of nowhere in the living room, the couch plopped right in front of him, making him collide and fall right in front of it. Oof. Phew! Finally, my aunt said as she was now in front of him, huffing and puffing, and dragged that thing all the way back to the living room. Here, it wasn't easy. Oh, what the hell? How did you get this thing up here? It wasn't easy, Wyan said as her eyes blew as the couch floated a good half foot from the ground. Now, you're coming with me. And don't try running off again. You know I got to stop you. Jeez, woman, you got to be on your period or something. What was that? Wyan asked, her eyes glowing, the darkness of blood red. Jeff, however, seen, nothing. That's what I thought. Wyan said as she walked with Jeff until, and don't worry, you don't have to tell anyone about my family if you don't want to. But if you feel like you're ready, I'll listen. Sure, whatever.